Alright, look, if you watch my channel, you already know where I stand. I've done my breakdown on JDM versus Belal, and yeah, I'm leaning slightly towards Jack Della Maddalena this weekend. That's not exactly breaking news. I mean, I've been pretty much riding the JDM train like it's the last bus home after a club night, but today I want to slow it down a bit because let's have an honest conversation. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, JDM's wrestling defense, because look, it ain't no secret that Jack is not exactly the second coming of Kamaru Usman when it comes to stopping takedowns. We've seen him get taken down by Hafez, and even Gilbert Burns had success dragging him to the mat. And I know some of you are out here saying, well, he always gets back up. And yeah, but bro, if he keeps getting taken down in the first place, we've got ourselves a problem, especially when you're fighting a guy like Belal Muhammad who lives for that grind, you know? This video isn't just about throwing shade at JDM's takedown defense. I'm not here to say that he's doomed. I mean, after all, I'm picking him this Saturday, to win, but we got to keep it real in that same time. We're gonna weigh on the pros and cons of JDM's grappling defense. Look at the style of matchups, talk about how dangerous Belal can be when he gets to that hip, and whether or not Jack can survive that kind of pressure for 5 rounds. So let's talk about why JDM gets taken down so often, because it's not just, oh, he's a bad wrestler. Nah, it's a stylistic thing, a mechanical thing. The man fights with a high guard, hands up tight, almost a peekaboo style. And while that's great for boxing defense, it leaves you wide open to getting snatched by a good wrestler. See, when your hands are glued to your cheeks like you're bracing for a surprise slap, you're not down low fighting for underhooks or creating frames. And that's exactly where guys like Hafez and Gilbert Burns were able to capitalize. They weren't shooting with some Habib level explosiveness, they were just beating him to the hips over and over again because his hands were too high for him to react in time. And here's the thing, if those guys can find those openings, what do you think Belal Muhammad is gonna do? The man's made a career off chaining takedowns together like a combo in Tekken. He doesn't need a wide opening, just an inch of timing, and he's deep on your legs. And the second he gets that entry, he's not letting go. He'll drive you through, push you to the fence, trip you, mat return you, and he'll do it again and again. And that's what makes this matchup so dangerous for JDM. It's not about whether he can stuff a takedown or two, it's whether he can consistently deny Belal the ability to get started. And when your base postures already invites those shots, that's a problem. And I'm gonna be real with you, Belal doesn't need clean entries every time. He just needs to touch your hips and the scramble begins. And guess what? If Jack has to keep fighting out of those exchanges round after round, that boxing we love so much, that beautiful Aussie flow state of his, it starts to fade. His hands aren't throwing combos anymore. They're hand fighting, they're defending grip, they're reacting. We already know how JDM is tough. We know he can eat shots and we know he's calm under pressure, but you don't fight off your back the same way you do in the pocket. If Belal drags him into that grind, it's not about just defending, it's about how long you can keep getting back up before your gas tank or timing starts to crack. And to make it worse, Belal isn't trying to posture up and land bombs. He's trying to flatten you out, trap a leg, ride you, and wear you down until your arms feel like jelly. And that's what makes the style matchup scary. Not because JDM isn't talented, but because his style, as sick as it is on the feet, naturally opens the door for grinders like Belal to exploit. Now, before y'all start spamming in the comments with, bro, JDM's always got back up though. Relax, I hear you, you're not wrong. That's actually one of the most underrated strengths in Jack's game. He's got that dog in him when it comes to scrambling. He doesn't just accept the bottom position and pray for stand up. Nah, he's looking to turtle and get to his knees and build back up every single time. And this is where it gets interesting because JDM's been working with Craig Jones. Yes, that Craig Jones, the dude who looks like he's been drinking protein shakes laced with sarcasm and leg lock knowledge. Craig Jones literally made a whole DVD system called Just Stand Up, and I'm not even joking, that's the name. It's a turtle based system built specifically for MMA, all about getting back to your feet safely without giving up your back. Why does that matter? Because Belal doesn't just want to take you down, he wants to ride you, lock in the body triangle and grind minutes off the clock like he's draining your phone battery in low power mode. Now, if Jack can keep denying the back takes, if he can stand up without getting flattened and locked down, then Belal's most dangerous tool, his top control, it starts to look a lot less effective. And listen, JDM isn't clueless on the mat. We're not talking about a striker with no grappling IQ. Dude's surprisingly slick with his balance. He knows how to roll with momentum and how to turn scrambles into an exit. He even apparently put Craig Jones to sleep in the gym exchange, though let's be honest, that video is probably cap. But the point is, Jack doesn't need to stop every takedown to stay alive in this fight. What he needs to do is scramble smart, deny the back takes, and force Belal to reset over and over. And if he can do that, if he can turn those takedowns into 5-second clips instead of 90-second rides that change the fight, that keeps Jack in his world. Because let's not forget, Belal's not exactly out here raining down elbows like a prime Tito Ortiz. If he doesn't get control time and he does not land significant damage, the judges start asking who's actually winning this round. And that's where the effective striking starts creeping back into the conversation. That's where JDM's volume, accuracy, and pressure starts to count again. But here's where it really starts to get gritty against the cage. That's where this fight can really turn into a mess real quick. Jack, when he's backed up, stays pretty calm. He's got his hips wide, posted up when he can, sometimes looking for a little step out. But if Belal traps him clean, that calm turns into stiffness, and not the good kind. You'll see Jack flat-footed, stuck, hand fighting, just reacting and slowly becoming a sitting duck. But let's flip it. Let's say Jack doesn't just survive those spots, he escapes them fast, he doesn't stall out, he posts up, he cuts angles, resets in open space. Now Belal's in trouble. Now it's a different fight. Belal's got no cage to help him, no pressure pocket, and he's stuck trying to box with a dude who lives off rhythm and timing. And when Jack finds that rhythm, you start seeing that leg kick, the body shots, the flow state, and once that starts, Belal's grind becomes a lot harder to sell. So here's where it gets really interesting, man. Let's talk about both ends of the spectrum, best case and worst case for JDM. Let's start with the scariest part, because if Belal starts landing takedowns early, and I mean clean entries, double legs into the mat returns, back rides, dragging Jack to his knees over and over, it can get real ugly. And it's not like he's taking damage kind of way, but more like a death by 1,000 clinch sequence. You ever seen one of those fights where the striker looks like they're in a haunted house, just confused, tense, trying to stay calm, while someone keeps jumping out behind them? That's the vibe if Belal gets going. Even if JDM keeps getting up, if Belal is chaining takedowns, touching the hips consistently, forcing Jack to fight out scrambles every round, that's gonna drain his gas tank. You can't throw slick combinations with a mouthful of lactic acid and your bicep pump from posting on the mat every 30 seconds. And let's be real, Belal's cardio is like a horror movie villain. He just keeps coming. 5 rounds of that pressure. And trust me when I say this, that's not something you want to be dealing with while trying to box clean. But flip it, let's say Jack does the same thing. Let's say he's stuffing some shots, bouncing back up quick, keeping Belal off his back, and now letting those mat returns build up. Now Belal's in a spot where he doesn't love. He's getting hit more. He's burning energy on failed shots. And now he's the one reacting. And here's the kicker. If Belal's on the back foot, he's not the same fighter. We've seen it before. His kicks go away. His combinations start to disappear. He becomes way more defensively first. And then that's where Jack's sniper mode can start kicking in. JDM doesn't need big haymakers. He doesn't need to starch Belal with one shot. All he needs is volume, accuracy, and space. And if he can create that, he'll start chopping the legs, digging the body, making Belal second guessing every entry. And maybe, just maybe, he can either steal rounds or set up a finish late. Because I'm telling you right now, this fight doesn't come down to who's better at their best. It comes down to who can drag the other guy into their world. If Belal can keep this into a grappling trench, make it ugly, slow it down, he's winning. But if JDM can survive the early wrestling, get back up clean, and turn this into a striking rhythm fight, then it's a whole different conversation. So yeah, I'm still leaning JDM, slightly nervous, respectfully, but that wrestling gap, that's the X factor. That's the thing I'll be watching like a hawk from the opening bell. But if you're asking me after watching the tape, digging through the film, and hearing everything come out, I really think that the grappling exchanges in this fight are going to be way more competitive than people are expecting. Like, yeah, Belal's probably going to get to the legs, maybe land a few takedowns here and there, but holding JDM down, that's a whole different challenge. I just don't see Belal being able to glue him to the mat for long stretches. Jack's got that scramble game and that urgency, so if you're asking, will JDM's grappling defense hold up? Yeah, man, I actually think it will. Not perfect, but enough to stay in the fight and make Belal work for everything.